Alrighty then. This is the final game that I have to talk about in the Call of Juarez series. And does it go out with a bang? So Call of Juarez The Cartel took the series in a new direction. It brought the Western game to the modern day. Now, that turned a lot of people off right at the very beginning. They didn't want a Call of Juarez game in the modern day. It was a Western, and that's all it was. But I'm going to defend the decision. There are a lot of great modern day Westerns. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with trying to make a modern Western game. I can't think of another game that's like that. So at the very least, Call of Juarez The Cartel is unique. I think the problem really comes up with this game feels rushed. There are a lot of glitches that you're probably going to run into while playing this game, and just a lack of polish for the overall game that really does come through. Like, the animations for the dancers in the club scene is atrocious. It's terrible. I've said this with the other Call of Juarez games. I can overlook technical shortfalls if the story is good. So is the story good? No, not really. It's kind of convoluted. It really feels like a rejected episode of NCIS or something like that. It's not that good, and I honestly don't think I could tell you really what happened in it, to be honest, because I didn't care that much. So the story's not that good. What about the characters? We have 3 playable characters this time. Unlike the other Call of Juarez games, you don't switch between the 2 characters. In the first Call of Juarez, you actually played through different levels with an assigned character. The second game, you got to choose between Ray and Thomas. This game, you have to choose one of the 3 playable characters right at the very beginning of the game, and then you play as them throughout the whole thing. That's because that there's actually different endings for this game. I think there's 4 in total, from my understanding. There's a good ending there, and then there's 3 bad endings depending on the character that you play. I'm gonna put it out there right now. It's not worth playing through as every character. It's just not. I played through as Ben McCall, a descendant of Ray McCall and his brothers. I don't quite understand how that happened, because Ray McCall was a preacher and spoiler alert, got killed in the first Call of Juarez game. And then his brother, Thomas, didn't have children of his own. So the only kid was Ben Candle, who had took the last name Candle. So I don't know how the McCall name... It doesn't matter. It really... I'm thinking too much into it. So yeah, I don't understand how the lineage of the McCalls work, but I guess that doesn't matter. Is Ben McCall a likable character? He's better than the other 2, whose names I cannot remember. He kind of has a Vic Mackey vibe, like this asshole with a heart of gold, rough cop.
What's that stuff for?
It's what I'm going to use to get you to tell me where Jenny Reborg is.
Your turn to play bad cop?
Nah. Good cop and bad cop left for the day. I'm a different kind of cop.
I just wish we had more time to develop that. The other 2 characters, I couldn't. I don't remember anything about them. One of them has a gambling problem and like steals drugs and resells them. The other one, I forget her name, and I don't... She like kills somebody for some reason. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, the story's not that good, not that memorable. It's a little rough. I defended before the decision to take the Western theme of Call of Juarez and put it in the modern day. The thing about a modern day Western, though, is I feel like it needs to still feel like a Western. It still needs to have those conventions. In some ways, I feel like this game does still feel like a Western. In other ways, I don't. When they like go to the ghost town and they're fighting in like an old Western town, that feels like it. When they're in the caves, that feels like a Western. I wish we had more Western like guns to play with. There's a couple revolvers in the game that you can use, and I preferred those, honestly, because I felt like a gunslinger, and that was fun. But maybe give me some lever action rifles and stuff. You're just cops. You don't have to have military grade weapons. Also, when you're like in the streets of LA and stuff, that doesn't feel too Western like. I will say, I think the music is mostly pretty Western. Not all of it. There are some tracks that I can think of in particular that play at certain points in the game that I was like, that doesn't fit in a Western, but you do get some Western sounding music that that I think works pretty well. No duels. There are no duels in this game. There's one Mexican standoff at the end, but it plays just like all the other gunplay in the game. I think that could have benefited the game to have a duel system like the other two games did. You may be saying that doesn't happen in modern day. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be realistic. It just needs to be fun, and it needs to feel like a Western. So put duels in. That would have been cool. I would have loved that. I think what it boils down to is Call of Juarez The Cartel is wasted potential. It could have been really fun and really cool with just a little bit more polish, a little bit more of those Western themes. It could have been a really fun game, and it could have been a great entry in the Call of Juarez series. I don't usually look up reviews before I do my reviews because I want to have my own opinion. I don't want to just reiterate what everybody else is saying, but I wanted to see if there was anybody defending this game, and I couldn't find anybody. I really couldn't, and I don't think it deserves all the hate it's gotten. I think it's pretty fun for what it is, but I believe it was full retail price when it came out. Not worth it. Definitely not. Don't pay that. And I think it's still like $30 on the Xbox store. Don't pay that either. It's not worth it. This game would be a perfect budget title. Slap that shit on the Switch. Make it $10. Perfect. Overall, I didn't hate this game as much as everybody else seems to. I wish it was better than what it was. But if they told me that there was going to be another Call of Juarez game set in the modern day, I wouldn't immediately be turned off by that. Just make it feel a little more Western. Make the characters a little more likable. Don't swear so much. That's another thing. This game swears so often, and it's just not necessary. It loses its bite after a minute. Swearing is like salt, okay? If you use a little bit of salt in a meal, you shouldn't taste the salt. It should just bring out the natural flavors of the meal. If you put too much salt in and you taste salt, you use too much salt. Same thing with swearing. If you swear too much in a conversation, you're gonna be like, why are you swearing so much? It's the same thing. You should just sprinkle it in throughout to really make something pop. Call of Juarez The Cartel isn't as good as it could be, but I think there's potential. And I think that maybe if they wanted to try again, they should. So I'll give it a C. I feel like that's deserving. It gets a passing grade. If you make it $10 and you're a fan of the series, I'd say it's worth your time. Otherwise, there's no reason to play this game. Thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I have more shorts and reviews coming to this channel. You can follow me on Twitch and TikTok at Thomas_Yazer, and my Instagram and Twitter links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.